We have some breaking news to bring to you right now. We've just learned that a civil case accusing Sean Combs and Sean Jay-Z...
Have you ever wondered what really happens when two of hip-hop's biggest titans go from brothers to bitter enemies? Have you ever thought about what would break a man who built an empire on bravado and beats?
Carter of sexually assaulting a 13-year-old was dismissed today. That is according to a new court filing.
Remember that clip from Diddy's 50th birthday party? Well, the truth about that night just came out. Word is an audio recording was played in court, and the moment it started, Diddy broke down. And honestly, no surprise. What came out was deeply disturbing. You're about to get the full scoop on how a secret tape turned a birthday bash into a courtroom bombshell, and why a friend's name echoing through those federal halls changed everything. The scene shifts from luxurious mansions and flashing cameras to a Manhattan courtroom where every whisper matters. Diddy, once untouchable, sat at the defense table as the prosecution played that covert audio. In seconds, the man known for throwing white parties and commanding stages was fighting back tears. It was a moment that shattered more than his composure. It cracked open decades of loyalty, betrayal, and shocking secrets.
Jay-Z's attorney, Alex Spiro, in a statement writes, quote, "The false case against Jay-Z that never should..."
This story isn't just about power or fame, it's about how alliances crumble when ambition and fear collide. It's about the lengths people will go to protect their image and the courage it takes to expose stunning truths. And at the center of it all, a recording that changed the game, dragging a hip-hop legend through the mud. From sold-out tours to sold-out whispers and hushed legal corners, this saga exposes the dark underbelly of fame. It shows how one woman's bravery led to a cascade of allegations, forcing the music mogul into the harsh glare of justice. Every beat dropped, every headline exploded, but nothing resonated like the sound of shock in that courtroom when Jay-Z's voice came through the speakers.
When you sit here, you know, the one question everybody has is there a part of you that thinks it's time for me to get back in the studio, or you're...
What we witnessed was more than a breakdown. It was the unraveling of a kingdom built on carefully controlled narratives. The trial revealed systematic schemes, from freak-off parties soaked in baby oil to secret blackmail tapes. Each witness peeled back another layer, painting a picture far more sinister than tabloids ever imagined. Cassie Ventura took the stand and delivered her testimony with unwavering resolve. She described years of manipulation and abuse, of coerced parties filmed for blackmail. Her words hit like a bass drop, rattling the courtroom and everyone who believed in Diddy's untouchable status. It wasn't just her story, it was the spark that ignited a blaze of dozens more accusations.
You're in no rush to do that, or are you waiting till the time is right for you?
Yeah, I think...
Because we can't use the word retirement.
Witness by witness, the pattern emerged, shifting cameras, orchestrated pain, and financial threats to keep silence. Staff members admitted they prepped hotel suites and procured supplies for those infamous gatherings. A former assistant spoke about stashing illegal substances under Kumbama's name and witnessing a mob-style intimidation at a diner over rival executives. Each account piled brick upon brick in the prosecution's case. Even Diddy's inner circle couldn't keep the truth hidden. A defense witness tried spinning confusion over camera directions, only to contradict himself under cross-examination. It was like watching someone try to rearrange deck chairs on the Titanic, absurd and desperate. And then came that audio clip featuring Jay-Z's unmistakable cadence. The room went silent, the facade crumbled. Jay-Z's involvement had long been whispered in industry circles, but hearing his voice implicate him in these dark gatherings was earth-shattering. Diddy's legal team argued the tape was taken out of context, but the damage was done. In that moment, decades of friendship were reduced to a single soundbite, echoing betrayal.
Have been brought has been dismissed with prejudice. By standing up in the face of heinous and false allegations, Jay has done what few can. He pushed back, he never settled, he never paid one red penny, he triumphed. And
from backstage celebrations to sealed indictments, the journey has been explosive. Federal agents raided mansions and found countless bottles of baby oil, modified firearms, and devices packed with incriminating footage. They uncovered emails threatening to expose victims and families if they spoke out. What was once a private world of excess became evidence in a criminal enterprise case. The prosecution laid out racketeering charges that could send Diddy to prison for life. Each charge carried its own weight, from sex trafficking counts with forced participation to carrying firearms for intimidation. They showed how resources from Bad Boy Entertainment fueled an alleged network of exploitation. This wasn't random misconduct, it was an alleged organized operation. On the stand, Cassie's mother recounted being blackmailed into a home equity loan to placate Combs-Mez's anger over her daughter's relationships. She documented bruises and threats with photographs and emails. Her testimony underscored how fear kept many victims silent until Cassie shattered the code of silence.
Environment for you.
Yeah. No, I already did that. I can't do that ever again. I would say I want to make music, but it has to.
Celebrities mentioned in passing suddenly found themselves entangled in the scandal. Usher, Neo, Jimmy Iovine, they were all named as witnesses to assaults who did nothing. Michael B. Jordan's brief romance with Cassie was dragged into the narrative, framed as a catalyst for Diddy's jealousy and rage. Every name dropped hinted at a broader culture of complicity. The defense tried to shift blame onto accusers, labeling them opportunists chasing payouts. They painted the freak-off parties as consensual lifestyles shared among adult partners, yet when pressed, Cassie and others said they'd give back the millions just to erase the trauma. That declaration spoke louder than any legal argument. Prosecutors played surveillance footage from a 2016 hotel assault, showing Diddy attacking Cassie in a hallway. She was thrown to the ground, kicked and dragged, violence captured in raw, unfiltered detail. The defense claimed the tape was doctored, but a judge ruled it authentic. The jury watched the video, and the image of Diddy's aggression became etched in public memory.
Be something important. I don't want to just make a bunch of tunes. That's not going to serve me. It won't feed me, first of all.
Throughout the trial, Diddy attempted to influence testimony from behind bars. Inmate phone recordings and three-way calls allegedly showed him coordinating witness statements. His lawyers moved to strike privileged materials seized from his cell after a judge found attorney-client privilege violations, but the taint lingered. Then came the missing witness twist. Victim 3, expected to recount trafficking activities, went off the grid. Subpoenas bounced back unserved. Prosecutors scrambled to find her, fearing a key piece of the puzzle would vanish. The trial slowed, questions swirled, and the courtroom drama reached new heights. Meanwhile, Jay-Z watched from the sidelines as his reputation was dragged through Diddy's legal mess. Although his civil suit was dismissed earlier, this audio reinserted him into the narrative. Social media exploded with memes, 50 Cent fanfare, and relentless trolling. Public opinion turned fickle, and the myth of invincibility shattered.
What does feed you? What feeds you?
I have to be saying something important. It has to mean something. You know, it has to mean something to me.
The judge, a young but firm arbiter, kept the trial moving. Over 600 potential jurors were screened. Names of celebrities read aloud to ensure fairness. By the end of the week, a panel of 18 stood ready to hear opening statements. Each juror knew fame could not shield truth when evidence stacked high enough. Witness testimonies alternated between grim detail and jaw-dropping revelations. One assistant described being so terrified after seeing Diddy brandish 3 handguns that he submitted his resignation on the spot. Another spoke of long nights setting up elaborate scenes that left victims terrified and isolated. The jury absorbed every word. The prosecution leaned on racketeering statutes designed to dismantle criminal organizations. They argued Combs used his businesses as fronts for trafficking and coercion. They traced communications between executives, producers, and assistants to show coordination. It was a legal tapestry woven from countless email threads and financial records.
To a larger society. Like 444, for example, was a personal story, but the amount of vulnerability.
Diddy's defense countered with character witnesses and expert psychologists who framed alleged victims as resilient adults who willingly participated. They contested coercion, saying power differentials didn't negate consent. Yet the jury heard about threats, blackmail, and fear, factors that erode genuine choice. Amid the testimony, jurors glimpsed how wealth can twist reality. People once starstruck by private jets and platinum records now spoke of dread and manipulation. The courtroom stood as a stark contrast to the glamorous world Diddy had curated for decades. Outside, the industry reeled. Sponsors cut ties, collaborators distanced themselves, streaming platforms debated whether to remove past hits from their catalogs. His musical legacy hung in the balance, as cultural gatekeepers weighed his artistry against alleged atrocities.
We've got breaking news from New York. A lawsuit has accused rapper Jay-Z of raping a 13-year-old girl in 2000.
The trial sessions stretched into summer, each day bringing fresh details. Prosecutors introduced text messages showing Diddy's instructions for freak-off parties. They played audio clips of staff members eagerly preparing supplies. The evidence was relentless in its consistency. Defense witnesses tried to poke holes in memories and timelines. Cross-examinations focused on inconsistencies, but each time a gap emerged, a new accuser stepped forward. Over 70 civil suits filed since Cassie's initial claim turned into a flood that even the defense admitted was unprecedented. Meanwhile, social media fueled a parallel trial. Hashtags trended, influencers weighed in, and memes circulated faster than legal briefs. The public verdict was delivered in real time, with Diddy's image alternately mocked, mourned, and reviled.
Allegedly alongside Sean Diddy Combs. The anonymous accuser says the alleged assault happened
By trial's midpoint, the case had become a cultural reckoning. Conversations about consent, consent education, and institutional protection dominated panels and podcasts. Activists called for stricter oversight in entertainment. Cassie's bravery was hailed as a turning point for survivors everywhere. As closing arguments neared, the courtroom buzzed with anticipation. The prosecution painted Combs as a self-styled kingpin who preyed on vulnerability. They urged the jury to hold him accountable for orchestrating a criminal syndicate under the guise of celebrity excess. The defense implored jurors to consider reasonable doubt. They emphasized Combs' philanthropy and industry contributions. They argued the allegations were sensationalized for financial gain, but some jurors nodded grimly at the stacks of evidence. In the end, the case transcended one man's downfall. It became a statement on how power and wealth can corrupt, and how truth can emerge when fear is overcome. The courtroom stage, once reserved for high-profile trials, became a battleground for cultural change.
Allegedly alongside Sean Diddy Combs. The anonymous accuser says the alleged assault happened.
Whether the jury convicts or acquits, the impact is irreversible. Diddy's empire may crumble, but the conversation he unwillingly sparked will shape policies and perceptions for years to come. Survivors found strength, and industries face scrutiny they can no longer ignore. This saga reminds us that no matter how grand the facade, cracks will appear when justice demands answers. It teaches that friendship and loyalty, even among giants, can fracture under the weight of dark secrets. And it proves that a single audio recording can upend an entire legacy. The fallout from this trial has already sent shockwaves through boardrooms and recording studios alike, forcing labels and executives to reevaluate the safeguards around artist behavior. Industry insiders are quietly discussing mandatory ethics training, transparent reporting channels, and third-party oversight for high-risk events. No longer can powerhouses rely solely on prestige and profit to gloss over red flags. The conversation has shifted to prevention, how to protect vulnerable talent and staff before allegations surface, rather than scrambling for damage control once the headlines break. Meanwhile, the ripples from Diddy's saga have reached collaborators who once stood by him. Producers and featured artists are now weighing partnership proposals against potential reputational risk. Festival organizers have added clauses in performance contracts that allow swift cancellation if serious misconduct is alleged. Even Jay-Z's future projects face increased scrutiny as the public demands full transparency from anyone linked to these events. It's a new era where star power no longer guarantees immunity.
After the teen was driven to an MTV Video Music after party, the federal suit was originally filed.
The most profound change, however, lies in the survivors' movement that this trial has emboldened. Dozens of accusers have come forward with their own stories, each adding to the chorus demanding accountability. Advocates are pushing for legislative reforms to extend civil and criminal statutes of limitations on abuse, aiming to ensure that justice cannot be circumvented by time. Support networks and legal aid funds are seeing record donations as more people recognize the importance of standing with victims. As the final verdict approaches, one thing is certain: the entertainment world will never look the same. Contracts, tours, and loyalties will be rewritten in the aftermath of these revelations. And for every institution that once turned a blind eye, there's now an urgent call to prioritize integrity over income. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and keep demanding better from your heroes, your platforms, and yourself.
In October, listing Combs as a defendant. It's now been refiled to include Carter. None of the allegations have been proven in court. Carter is the first celebrity to be accused of sexual.
Stay tuned for the verdict, because this isn't over. The final chapter will reveal whether Combs pays the ultimate price for the empire he allegedly built on exploitation. But one thing's clear: the court of public opinion has already delivered its sentence. If you found this breakdown eye-opening, hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going and demand the accountability we all deserve.